Once upon a time lived a king who was very kind and took care of his kingdom people very well. One day he was cutting an apple, and accidentally he cut his finger. King cried aloud, and then one of his ministers who was present at that time came toward King. Minister took a piece of cloth, and while tying cloth to King's finger, he said, "Don't worry. Whatever happens, happens for good. It's the mercy of God." King got angry and said, "What nonsense you're talking about. So much blood is coming out. I am crying in pain, and you are saying it's the mercy of God. You are a big fool. I will throw you in jail." Just then, the king called his guards and asked them to throw the minister into jail. Even then, the minister smiled and said, "Whatever happens, happens for good. Thank you, God." Next day, King went alone to hunt in the forest. There were no guards or ministers with him at that time. Soon, he lost way in the forest and landed in the enemy's tribal kingdom. King got surrounded by the tribal head and his soldiers. They tied King to a tree. Tribals drank and danced around the king and shouted, "Let this man be sacrificed to our God." They started preparing for sacrifice. King was helpless and sad. He didn't know what to do. There was no one to help him. After all preparations were made, the tribal priest came to inspect King and saw that King had a bandage on his finger. Seeing this, priest said to the tribal head, "This person had already cut on his finger. We need someone whose whole body is without any cuts. Thus this person is unfit to be sacrificed, and let him go back." Tribal head freed the king. King got back to his kingdom safely and told this story to his minister who was put in jail. Minister then smiled and said, "See, I told you whatever happens, happens for our own good. It's the mercy of God. On that day you cut your finger, and it saved your life, and when you put me in jail, my life was also saved." King was confused and said, "How was your life saved?" Minister replied, "Wherever you go, I have to be with you. But on that day, I was in jail, so couldn't come with you. If I had come with you, then the tribal king would have sacrificed me because there were no cuts on me. This way, I was saved too. That's what I believe. God did not punish you. He is preparing you. Trust in God's plan, not your pain." Lesson of the story is, we should trust God and believe that whatever happens to our own good. If we follow this philosophy, then we will stop worrying too much, and it would make our life more happier. If you have liked the story, hit the like button and subscribe for more stories.